His Majesty is about to make an announcement to yous all.
Yeah.
Simmer down and listen to. I mean, that's how people from Scotland talk.
Yeah, but that wasn't in the original
Oh shit, Mr.
version.
Drippy's in that game? So we're doing the category that I feel like is pretty obligatory in any kind of like game of the year type discussion, even though it is the antithesis of what we are attempting to do with these, where we do generally want to stay positive in regards to these, do positive send-ups of the games of the year, of the generation, whatever. Like these are meant to be a celebratory type thing.
I've been doing it wrong then.
Yeah, I know, but whatever. But that being said, you have to do a list of the worst shit. And normally we do a category for most disappointing, because there's definitely a fine line between worst and something that's disappointing. But it's getting harder and harder to fill up the worst category because we just aren't playing games that are actively bad. It was something that made more sense when we worked at GameStop and we were just taking, whatever the fuck home with us. So with this category, for the purpose of Game of the Generation, is The Quiet Man presents worst/most disappointing game of the generation. You can do some just dog shit that you've played over this past generation, or you can just do some things that really disappointed you. Mine are almost all disappointments, just because those really stick with me in a much worse way. Like a bad game, you just play it, and then sometimes you can like laugh about how bad it is, but the disappointing ones really grate on you, and I feel a lot more strongly about those than I do something that's just straight up bad. But Jason, if you want to start us off with the fifth worst thing that you've played this past generation.
Mine is just a game that I tried that someone told me was fun, and they're a liar, and it's Oxenfree.
Rude. I never said it was fun. I said it was good.
I didn't consider the element of this that would be starting shit.
Jason, I got a problem with
that. I don't really have that many negative thoughts about it. It's just not a thing that I want to play. I understand enjoying it, and I shit on it a lot because it's fun to me, but just not
it's a meme to shit on it.
Yeah,
it's a meme game.
I like video games that have gameplay.
That's weird.
And this one doesn't. But yeah, that was my number 5.
So my number 5 is borderline an honorable mention, because this one is not a disappointing game. This is a bad
Nor
game.
is it a bad game. It's actually just a really good game.
Yeah, it's actually I really love this game.
I just couldn't fit it on my best game list.
It's been so long that I don't even particularly remember a lot of the details surrounding it, and Lord knows I wasn't going to boot it up to like check this out again. But I remember that it came out and it was getting like generally positive buzz around, and then Ryan and I, we were just fucking hanging out playing whatever the fuck, we downloaded it and decided to give it a shot one day. And I can think of few games that I have so immediately bounced off of or just been like, what the fuck is this garbage, than Whoa Dave. More like No Thanks. This game sucks so much shit. And I don't even like understand why anyone was speaking positively about it, and reading reviews on it I didn't understand why people spoke positively about it. It's just like this shitty arcade style, like almost kind of like Bubble Bobble-y.
Yeah, someone tried to redo an arcade game, but like at home on a computer, or I think I had it on the 3DS.
It was on Wii U. I have it on PS4. It's
it shows up because it's one of those games that's like, I think it costs $1 and it's often free. It shows up in bundles. And
no, Oxenfree is a different game. High five. Wait.
It's fucking awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. Just dog shit. And it like worse yet is it was at this time when like I feel like the 8-bit indie thing was like reaching its really negative critical mass, and it has that kind of like graphics in it. It's just dog shit. Like it is the genesis of the more like No Thanks joke.
Yeah.
Because, God, Ryan and I hate that fucking game. Sean, what's your number 5?
I feel bad for putting this one on here because I know Ryan had a lot of fun with this game. It is. It's not a game.
It's a clear
book. Luigi's Mansion 3.
In
Surely,
your worst games?
I know.
I
know,
guess
I
you
feel really
truly
bad.
do not play a lot of video
Did you
games.
mean Luigi's Mansion 2?
I didn't. I never played Luigi's Mansion 2. It wasn't. Thing is,
It's got
very
Luigi
few.
in
Very
it.
few of the things in my list are like strictly bad. But I think I really, really got myself excited to play Luigi's Mansion 3, and then it just felt to me like a letdown in a way that I didn't fully expect. And
I gotta remember that this category is / disappointing, and you
Yes.
guys are 1000% hype beasts, and you get caught up in your own hype.
Hey,
The worst
Jason, can
piece
you go ahead
of
and get out the
shit
banner
ever.
for Cool Bandana Guys presents the roast of Ryan Rowland's game tastes?
Oh shit!
Where's Ashton?
He's the
like it's
roast.
it is partially just me hyping myself up too much, but I think I didn't play Dark Moon, and it just felt Luigi's Mansion 1 had such an atmosphere.
The fact that you didn't play Dark Moon is, I think, why your expectations were so wrong. If you've only played the first Luigi's Mansion, if you played Dark
Yes.
Moon, your expectations would be exactly correct for 3.
Luigi's Mansion 3 is the exact middle between Dark Moon and the original.
I see. And like the thing I love about the first one is like it's insane to say that a Mario game has atmosphere. Well, I guess Odyssey has atmosphere in spades. So actually, never
And
mind. It's not
nipples.
insane to say that at all.
So what you're saying is
so
you need to
Paper
completely
Mario-
change your number
Paper
5
Mario has
to an actual bad
atmosphere.
game.
All the Mario and Luigi games have atmosphere.
No, you're 100% right. It's not a bad game.
I would
It
argue
was just-
Sunshine has atmosphere.
It was, and it was hard to fill
Doesn't
my
have
top
nipples.
5. But yeah, here we are.
Ryan, if you say near, I'm gonna be sad.
Shit, I was
No,
gonna make
I
that
won't.
joke.
If you say
Damn it.
near, I'm going to cry.
Don't worry,
I already
he'll
made
save
my
that
near
for
joke.
one.
I might be blowing my load a little early here.
Same.
But I do want to take a moment to talk about our sponsor, The Quiet Man, because it is a profoundly bad game, but I think it might be one of those games that I had the most fun playing.
Yeah,
I know we
it's-
covered it in a previous video. Like, I can't truly say it is a bad game, similar to like Vampire's Kiss is a bad movie. The Room is a bad movie.
Yeah,
all
like,
those things. Like,
See, I think you can totally say it's a bad game, but that doesn't mean it's not fun.
yeah, but that's why it ranks. It's number 5. I like if I didn't have fun playing it, it'd be number 1. If I had any hype for it, it'd be number 1. Because it is truly a really fucking bad game.
Yeah, but
But-
it loops. It's so bad it loops back around to being amazing.
Yeah, because it doesn't even like have charm or anything. Like it's because it's like if it had charm, you could be like, oh, it's bad, but it has charm. It's funny. It's just
I'm
it's
rocking my
devoid of
Dane.
anything good.
I'm rocking my Dane cut for the worst category.
Perfect.
It's
I-
so profoundly bad.
Like
that-
I could not, in good conscience, put it in a worst games list though. Like I had too much of a good time with it. I recommend
Yeah,
it
but
too
I think-
much.
Yeah, we had fun with it because of how bad it is. So I think
Yeah,
it needs mentioning. But that's why it's only number 5. Play this horrible fucking game.
yeah. It's like it
But
is
do it
the
with
worst
friends.
game that I will recommend Quiet Man to the day I fucking die. I will
And-
beg Limited Run to do a physical release of Quiet Man every time they ask.
And don't forget, Square Enix showed it off at E3.
Yeah, it got E3. It was the Square Enix Twitter banner for weeks. Hunter, what is your number 5?
It's Fire Emblem Echoes. Because turns out they can make Fire Emblem 2 as pretty as they want. That game sucks absolute dog shit.
They polished a turd. They put lipstick on a pig.
It had that problem that a lot of second NES games did, where they didn't know what to do with the game because they're like, okay, I didn't think it would be popular. Let's make a sequel. What do we do?
Completely change it.
And they made it, it's a strategy game where every map is just a wide open field. And archers have a 6-tile range.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and there is one class that's even better than archers because
Social studies.
Deep archers.
geography. They have really high movement, really high attack, really high evasion. They take half damage from magic just as a class bonus, and as an added thing, they can infinitely promote and loop to get stronger.
Balance.
Yep. Everything other than the gameplay is great, though. The gameplay is absolute garbage. Jason, what's
Is it
your number
repetitive?
4?
Yeah, hit me with a number 4. Well, yeah, it's a Fire Emblem game.
Well, then
My
I think
number-
Echoes was a apt title. Got him.
Thank you for watching our worst games of the decade.
Thank you for watching our worst podcast of the decade.
Generations.
It's going to be a span of
Whatever.
3 episodes that people give up on one of them.
My number 4 is good old PUBG,
Yeah,
because I was made aware that that game is in fact bad.
yeah. It's a real bummer.
That game is definitely highest on the list of bad games that I put a lot of time into.
We
I-
put so much time
I have
into
been in
PUBG.
few such abusive of relationships with any piece of media.
'Cause
Jason, you're stealing all my talking points for.
that game is for so long was so close to being good, but in the amount of time it continued to not be good, like 10 other games came out that did the same thing better.
Like
yeah.
the one like kind of saving grace of it is like I never quite liked Apex or Fortnite as much as
No.
I like PUBG, but once Warzone dropped, I am
Yeah.
never going back.
PUBG is the Skype of Battle Royale
Yes.
games. They had a huge head start. They even charged money for it and still somehow squandered it, and it still fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's the
Still
only
barely
battle roy-
functions.
It's the only battle royale that I paid money for, and it's the worst functioning
Like,
one of all
it's
of them
that
I've played.
It's that fucking Game Freak bullshit where it makes so much money, why bother?
Yeah.
Like the amount of like money that the mobile version pulls overseas, there is no reason to improve that game. Why waste the money? Like
Yeah. People, I mean, it's endearing. People like starting a new game to have one of their 4 teammates get stuck in a building and
And
then die
we-
immediately.
I'm willing to put up with that for like the beginning, but
Not-
like
It
It still happens.
Years.
Every new update made the game worse.
and then like adding in the bots was truly the nail in the coffin
Yeah,
for me.
no,
It's like that was
I think we had like one little week where we played it a couple nights around when they added bots, and I've never touched it since.
it's like
then.
I was
That's
getting
around when
15
we-
kills a game. There was no
Yeah.
point. It's like there's
It was
no
around
tension.
when we started playing Warzone.
Yeah.
I will say, the game is so much better on PC. Having played, don't get me wrong, it's going to be on my list as well.
I'm actually going to
Uh,
counterpoint that and say that because of the economy and hacking issues that you deal with on PC, I completely disagree.
I've never had any issues with hacking, and I don't even know what the economy is.
It's because you die too early.
I mean, I've
You
had
don't need to have
so
to
much
take it
better.
out.
Like, I understood what you guys were talking about as soon as I started playing on the Xbox. 'Cause I played it on the Xbox with you guys a good amount. I was like, oh, I get why everybody hates this game so much.
Maybe I was just playing like the wrong time. Like maybe like the stuff got smoothed out on PC. Because I pretty much stopped doing the PC once I started playing on a console because the console experience was so much better for me.
Mhm.
But fucking God, it breaks my heart.
That's
That's
we got Warzone.
Yeah, Warzone's great. Downloaded a 30 gig
Warzone.
high res texture pack for Warzone.
It wasn't enough gigs before, so
No, now it's like
I
130.
can't play
gigs.
Warzone because I can't make the space on my system.
Please, sir, may I have some disk space?
So PUBG, while it is very disappointing and it does break my heart, PUBG I don't think killed anything. And I think that my number 4 killed a franchise that is largely bad, but I don't think we're ever going to get a Star Fox game again after Star Fox
Fuck, I
Zero.
forgot about this game.
I was very excited for Star Fox Zero. They said that they were getting Platinum Games to do a bunch of stuff for it. I have gone on the record many times saying I really like Platinum Games and I want them to do everything all the time. And Hunter and I played through Star Fox Zero in co-op. And when you play the game in co-op, it actually comes off like it's a pretty good game. It tricks you because it takes away the biggest fundamental issue of that game, which is the aiming and the flying at the same time. Star Fox Zero is so insultingly bad that it's one of those things that I don't understand how this made it through any amount of like quality assurance, design decisions, anything, where no one at any point said, hey, you can't aim and see where you're going at the same time in a plane game. I can't think of any other game where you would even attempt to get away with that sort of shit.
This guy has to see where he's going to play the game.
Yeah, you just
Get
gotta
good.
feel.
Like it is profound how bad it is. And that was also, there were a lot of really bad like entries for different franchises on the Wii U, like Mario Party and Mario Tennis. Though the absolute dog shit, and I could talk about them at length as well, but those franchises didn't get killed by their entries, and I don't think we're gonna see another Star Fox for a very, very long time.
No,
Yeah,
like it's just gonna be
You
Star
hear a
Fox
lot.
2.
Game was
What'd you say,
$60
Hunter?
fucking
be-
dollars.
It's gonna be Star Fox Guard 2.
Hey, Star Fox
I
Guard
held on to Star Fox Guard.
Yeah, same. I've
sold
got my copy over
Zero.
here.
The thing with Star Fox and all its stuff on the Wii U is like they were pushing super hard for gimmicky stuff, which people always, new system stuff like that, push your gimmicks, push your features. But they like leaned way too hard into it and just made something unplayable. And I feel like that is it's like the warning. It is the thing you look at to be like, this is why you don't lean too hard on these things. These are supposed to be side stuff. Do not base your whole game around it.
And I honestly think the only reason it ranks so low on my 5 is because, and we talked about this during the Star Fox 64 playthrough, there's only one good Star Fox game.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no Star Fox
Fox
game
2.
that is this insultingly terrible. Like, this is like, it boggles my mind, and it makes me, it hurts my heart that people paid $60 for this game. That like,
Hurt my wallet.
yeah, it's like that's a reason, and because a person's like, Star Fox is a name in Nintendo. It's like that means a degree of something. Like at the very least, you could get it, and it's like, oh, okay, whatever. It's an okay. The worst Star Fox is still okay. But this just, God, is so bad.
You heard him, folks. He said Star Fox Zero is okay.
Sean, hit me with your number 4.
My number 4 is, this almost feels cliche to put in my list. Like, it's been dumped on a billion times, but I was excited for this game, which I did not play. But there was nothing that was going to be able to get me to play it, but the initial trailer got me really excited for Fallout 76. And then, as everybody knows, and honestly, like a week later when they said it's multiplayer only, I was done immediately. I love some entries in the Fallout series, New Vegas and 2. I don't love either others, 4. And I don't know. I
Sean,
really would like something to.
Let me say these words to you. You
Three's
get to explore the Nuka-Cola bottling facility and fight Mothman.
Yeah, I would love.
Yeah.
I would love for that to
Aren't
be
those
part
cool
of a
things?
good game.
I also think that maybe like the most bittersweet thing about Fallout 76 is they fixed it. Like,
Really?
yeah, it has a complete single player campaign, NPCs, everything. Like, they made a normal Fallout game out of it, but nobody gives a shit anymore.
And it's
Yeah, because they
free now,
lost
right?
all their goodwill
Yeah, it's like
consistently
they
for 2
completely
years.
burned every single ounce of it. But yeah, it's like that game's fine by all reports now.
I mean, I just have to remind myself that nothing will ever be New Vegas again.
Well, You say
That's how I
that.
feel on 3.
I mean,
Microsoft both owns the Fallout IP and the New Vegas development team. Sure, Chris Avalon's in some kind of hot water right now and was probably never going to work in this industry again, but let's ignore that little fact.
Wait, but didn't they even? Wasn't he already like delegated to like Lonely Hearts in oh, I'm thinking of Sawyer, right?
Yeah, so Chris Avalon was the lead writer of New Vegas, and
Oh, okay,
then
never mind. I was
was
thinking
the lead. He
because
also
Josh Sawyer was the guy for Fallout 2, but they put him on Lonely Hearts, the worst DLC for
Avalon
Vegas.
was employed as the writing lead on Dying Light 2, and then the allegations have come out against him, and he will likely never work in this town again.
Oof, I'm not excited to Google this later.
Yeah, he's a sex pest. That's it. He's not like a full on rapist or anything, but he would do some shitty shit. He got me too'd.
Gotcha.
Which is a bummer because now every time I look at Arcade Gannon, I'm gonna think, that sucks.
Don't be a creep.
Don't be a
sex
creep.
pest.
Don't be shitty.
It's not hard to not be a weirdo.
Would've
Ryan,
thought.
what's your number 4?
So this one
Actually,
kind of
just really, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can we just talk about that collector's edition for just like one fucking moment? Just
of
Can we just-
76.
can we just
I
fucking
mean, we could spend a whole episode talking about just all the fucked up shit in 76 because I was also disappointed with 76 because I'm not a big Fallout guy, but the idea of playing through a Fallout thing with my buddies seems fucking cool,
Yeah,
and
'cause,
then
like,
the game doesn't
If it
work.
were like a co-op,
We've always talked about
Game.
wanting to be able to do co-op Fallout. Like that's always something. Like Melissa's wanted to be an online trader in the Fallout universe for so long. She really liked all the city building aspects of it. So the idea of being able to interact with other people is super appealing to her. Someone paid me $350 for that collector's edition, and by the time they saw the writing on the wall long before they got that game sent to them, and they couldn't cancel the eBay, and I wasn't going to give them a refund. Mm-mm.
so something I found from the Wikipedia page on Chris Avalon is, did you guys know that they're remaking System Shock?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Night
they've been
Dive, I think, is doing
slowly.
it.
No idea.
Yeah, they've been slowly working on it for like 6 years now.
apparently it's really good what they have too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh damn.
Or yeah, it's like fans are receptive to it. Okay, sorry, Ryan, to interrupt. Just Fallout 76.
that's fine.
Man, what a dog shit piece of shit.
Yeah. This one kind of has layers to it. Not only is it a shitty game, but also I had to deal with shitty people when this game came out. Devil's Third for the Wii U.
Completely forgot about that game.
It is
This one does have layers.
yeah, so it is just on its own, just like a shitty third-person shooter thing, barely works. As a game itself, fucking sucks. But like the day before it was announced, like Nintendo or somebody was like, hey, we can't cancel this game, but we printed like 50 copies of it. So we had scalpers calling GameStop, or people who wanted to complete their collection, but the scalpers were the shitty ones, calling GameStop constantly for like 3 months trying to find this game that they announced off the bat is like, hey, this is going to be fucking rare. Good luck.
Yeah.
So we had to deal with people constantly calling about this shitty game that we didn't have.
Yeah, Devil's Third was some dog shit, and Ben DePauli bought that game.
Yeah.
Love him to death.
Spaghetti. I
Like,
wonder what he did with it.
I'm curious if he still has it.
100% of it.
God, and it was so bad.
God, it's such a bad fucking game.
Oh, but then because it sold so well, because they announced it would be rare, they made copies later on.
Mhm.
They reprinted that game, so now it's not rare anymore, and the people who rush out to be scalpers.
It's just great shit.
It reminds me of the pictures of the scalpers who bought like 12 Wii U's at launch. 'Cause,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
the Wii was so popular. Like this can't not
Too big to
make
fail.
money.
Too bit. Oh,
Please
Controller
get
was too
redeem
big to
yourself.
fail.
Too comfy to fail.
Hunter, what's your number 4? As we're having this very therapeutic emotional release.
So this one's kind of like Sean's, where it seems kind of like a cop out to put on here, but it's Anthem. But like,
Game's bad.
I mean, it's
so
one thing to
bad.
kill an IP, it's another thing to kill a studio.
Hey, they're making another Mass Effect after the last one was
Yeah, they're making a new Dragon Age 2, if you believe that.
I don't.
They're making another. They're making Deep Down.
That's Capcom.
Coming out. It's coming out. Deep Down's going to come out.
Capcom has a great track record for releasing games. What are you talking about? But it's just like, because I especially started playing Anthem once, EA games were on Game Pass. And it's so bad. There's so many questionable decisions immediately. And it's like, did none of you think this through? Why on the first mission do you have the player fly around an empty area gathering 8 balls of light that you can only hold 3 of at a time?
So I can speak a little more specifically to Anthem because I played a shit ton of Destiny. And the amount that Anthem clearly only exists to try to get some of that Destiny money is insane. But the weirder thing is, like, Destiny had a very, 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 very rough launch. But they eventually brought themselves out of it. But Anthem came around way after Destiny figured its shit out. But it's like the Anthem devs only played the launch Destiny 1. It makes so many of the same mistakes. It is insanely funny to look at.
And they also, it's supposed to be like a games as a service or whatever those are called. But they almost immediately abandoned their game. It was like it started getting bad reviews and they're just like, all right, we won't touch it. And my favorite thing that I saw from it was March. Somebody took a picture of the hub world in that game and they still had their Christmas decorations up.
Yeah.
So the other thing that doesn't help about it is EA's EA Plus or whatever they call EA Access on PC gives you the first 10 hours of every EA game, regardless. Doesn't matter. Every EA game first 10 hours. And Anthem was shorter than 10 hours. So they had to do everything in their power to artificially pad out the game so people wouldn't be able to beat it during the demo period, which a lot of people still found a way to do. They say that they're doing a big No Man's Sky-esque overhaul to that game, and that's why I bought that copy for $5. I would be curious to see if they can pull it out. I don't think they can, but I want to see what happens.
It'd be cool because it has a base of somebody says hey, I have this idea where you fly around in fucking Iron Man suits on an Avatar-esque planet, and you're like, oh, that sounds cool. And then it's well, here's a pile of shit.
Yeah, it's I think there's pieces about it. And also as someone who likes that Destiny gameplay loop, I think I could like Anthem if Anthem was better.
I played the demo or the beta of it and was like, oh, this seems like it would be fun. I might play it. And then all the reviews and stuff came out. I was like, no, that's it. That's literally all it is.
Yeah.
It's oh, never mind. This sucks.
Going back to the thing you said, Ryan, about them abandoning it, I just love that they had this big roadmap for future updates and stuff, and then within a week of launch, okay, we're ditching that. We're just gonna focus on fixing the game.
I mean,
yeah, because it launched so bad that they couldn't focus on doing the roadmap because it was all hands on deck to make the game runnable and workable and playable.
And Mass Effect Andromeda was the exact same thing. They had a huge content roadmap plan for that also, but then they just kind of said, nah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, that's the correct decision for both of those games.
Looking forward to playing Mass Effect Andromeda too on Game Pass. Can't wait to see how bad that is.
God. Man, BioWare, what the fuck?
Well, the BioWare who made those isn't the same ones that made the older Mass Effects.
Yeah, that's...
If you guys don't mind me...
One's good.
Tangenting real quick. Something that now that I have friends who work in entertainment and stuff, it's been such a bummer realizing that the reason things are bad are the same reason anybody's job is bad. Just the people in charge are either disconnected to the product or there's no money to put into it or no time. Bums me out,
We're all slaves to capitalism, Sean.
Yeah. No gods, no managers.
Also, if you don't want me tangenting again, I'm right next to a... okay, never mind. It's about EA.
What is he next to?
About EA, I want to know.
What are you next to, Sean?
Is Dash frozen?
No.
No, he's just angry.
He's holding very still.
Well, okay, so I live right next to an EA headquarters. It's in or not their headquarters, the EA building that's in a marsh near me. and I think that's funny. They're
A
like right at
Stan
the edge of
Marsh?
town in the Ballana Creek salt marsh out near LAX.
God, all of that, the salt from us gamers drowned them out.
I did look them up on Google Maps one time, and they just have. I feel bad because it's like not a headquarters, it's just where people work, and it's just so many angry gamers, like telling them to die.
Jason,
Salt from the gamers.
finally
and money
circling
from
back to you. What is your
Sorry.
number 3? We're getting into the meat now. We're getting into the real bad shit.
See, my I wouldn't say that for my number 3. My number 3 is a game I have no ill will towards. It's just I wasn't super excited for it when it came out. I bought it because I thought it might be fun, and turns out it just wasn't fun. It wasn't hard. It's a baby game for babies, and it's Yoshi's Crafted World.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It just wasn't good.
yeah.
Like I don't have like a big connection to Yoshi. I played Yoshi's Story a lot on N64 when I
Woolly
was
World's
little.
amazing.
I've never played it.
I kind of feel like
But
I feel like
it
I
just-
had this problem
It
with
just
Yoshi's
wasn't
Story
fun.
on N64. I feel like every
And-
Yoshi game I go
And
into.
I don't. Yoshi's Story might not be fun either. I was like
It's a
7
bit
when I played
easy.
it.
It's kind of
But like that's like I put on Yoshi's Crafted World, played it for a couple hours, and it just did nothing for me.
Yeah,
It
I
was-
borrowed
it was
your copy,
literally-
and it was just-
it was literally just like throw an egg at a thing and then move to the next thing and throw an egg at it. No,
I think
I'm pretty sure that was the whole game.
I think that the idea of like children's video games are an important thing to like, keep everything accessible for kids. And I
Yeah.
truly think that like this is probably a fine game for an actual child. Like people
yeah, that's
joke
totally
about Nintendo
fine.
shit like that all the time, but it's
It is a baby game for babies.
yeah,
Like
it is.
like Mario games I played when I was younger, but I definitely didn't like play them correctly or like finish them. But like Yoshi games you can hand to a child and they can figure out how
Yeah.
to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just wasn't for me.
That
I
bums me
don't-
out 'cause I think its
I
aesthetic
like
is
easy
so
games.
cool.
I like easy games, but this game was so little going on and easy that I just didn't. It was not interesting.
And even if you like go for like the 100% and all the secrets, it's just not engaging. It's
And I also feel like Nintendo's gotten pretty good at like having a wide range of like
Mhm.
difficulty, especially with all their like helper stuff lately.
And Mario nails it with the idea of like, okay, the level itself is fairly easy, but if you want to get all the secrets and
Mhm.
like all the secret coins, then that's going to be challenging. I think that's a perfect system.
Yeah.
But
It did
Bummer.
nothing for me. I have nothing against the game. I'm sure there are people who like it. It's a great game to get a kid into a video game.
yeah,
I just
But it
kind of
just
wish,
didn't
I
have
guess, they
enough.
would announce which ones are their baby ones, because it's like, I think Kirby's Epic Yarn is cute as hell, but that's, even by Kirby's standards, that game's a baby game. Crafted World, kind of the same thing of like, I want to, play around in this like little like diorama crafted stuff. That looks
Mhm.
fun, but
and
I want
also
to play an engaging game when I do it.
as like a GameStop employee, if they can like call out specifically the things that are meant for kids, like that's a really actually good
Mhm.
selling point.
Yeah,
Especially when they're like
Grand Theft
specifically
Auto or Call of
making
Duty.
things
Yeah.
for kids. Like it's just a matter of not communicating it. It feels
Yeah.
Yeah, but they want to sell it to more people than children, which is why I bought a copy.
And all in
Yeah.
all,
Don't
video
have
games are for
money.
adults, not for those stupid kids who can't understand.
Yeah, fuck the children.
Kids don't have
I gave my
credit
3-year-old
cards.
son Near Automata, and then he just didn't even know what to do. Like, what the
Didn't
fuck,
understand the moral.
Didn't understand
and
any of the
philosophical
nuance.
parts of it.
man? So my number 3 is we're getting into the real like lifetime of anger and disappointment, and like I will harp on this the rest of my fucking days, and I know it'll harp on it for the rest of my fucking days because I've been harping on this one for 5 years, and I'm
Let's
still
get
not
into
done
the
harping on
thick
it.
of it and the yick of it.
Yeah, let's. Oh, do you have Yick on yours?
No.
Oh damn! Ah, you fucked it. Oh, okay. I was otherwise you burned your transition too early. There is I think there are maybe few games out there that dropped so much in quality between the original game and the sequel as this. But I also think that you run into an issue of when you make your first game a mega hit, what do you do? and how do you follow that up? And I think that the easy choice, obviously, is to just make a sequel to that thing. And it truly highlights how much you caught lightning in a bottle. And I think fewer games demonstrate this quite as well as Hotline Miami 2, Wrong Number.
Who dug
I
that game?
love Hotline Miami. Hotline Miami 1 is one of the best video games ever made.
It's a tight little package.
I cannot say one positive thing about Hotline Miami 2 other than that the soundtrack is still pretty good.
The soundtrack rips. I
Yeah.
got the
But like
soundtrack right here.
they never wrote a song better than Hydrogen. Like there's still no tune better than Hydrogen.
They didn't write that for Hotline Miami, so it doesn't matter.
But I mean they didn't do that for Hotline Miami 2 either. So like it's
Oh, they got Magna. It's a good one.
and it's just I love Hotline Miami 1 so much, and now every single time I like, because they only sell them in like a bundle at this point, like the Hotline Miami collection, I always have to predicate saying only play the first one. Just don't even bother. Like there's nothing, there's not one single redeeming feature of the second one. It like tries to like get into the story of Hotline Miami, and it's just fucking stupid and like doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, you lose something with that because there was the first one was so like mysterious and weird, and like there was a lot of stuff to kind of like it was like hinted at, but you could discuss it. Where it's like there's no discussing this one because they just spell it out for you. They emphasize guns.
It does that sequel thing where it somehow makes the original one a bit worse.
Oof.
By nature of things that it adds, and like I hate this game. I hate that it exists. It is a fucking stain on the Hotline Miami name. It is bad. It is very bad. No one should ever play it. Not even as like a curiosity. I don't even think it's like worth that. It's just bad. And it really bums me out.
You especially shouldn't play it if you like Hotline Miami.
Oh yeah, definitely not. And it really bums me out because I would love an actual good follow-up to Hotline Miami, one of the best games ever made.
I mean, these are all the reasons I never touched Hotline Miami 2 because you guys told me this.
Fucking terrible.
I loved Hotline Miami 1.
You just made me more morbidly curious about it. Now I want to play it.
I mean, sure, do it, but you're just gonna be. It's just hate fucking some fucking techno.
Yeah, but it's like, how much will I hate it?
Like that thing is, it's not even like hyper, like laughably bad. It's just meaty. It's just a wet fart.
Meaty.
They focus on weird stuff where they're like, okay, every level now you should use a gun, but dudes shooting at you are off screen.
Yeah, and like they have like 4 different playable characters who all have like different like powers, but you don't get to choose which one for each map because each map is designed around the character. Like whereas opposed like the mask system of the first one, you could pick any mask for any map and you're going to be able to get through it. And it just, God, it fucking blows. I'm just sad, like mad thinking about it. I bought that game in the vinyl day fucking 1 because I was so excited for it. Sean, get me out of
Good
this.
soundtrack.
Well,
Yeah,
I
good
don't really
soundtrack.
have much for you. Mine's PUBG. Pretty much all the same things Jason said. I've played over 100 hours on PC. I've played probably over 50 on the console. I've played so much of it, and yet it hurts me so. All the time I think about going back to it on the PC to see if maybe it could change, but
Fix your fucking game, Brendan.
it's a shame.
No.
Does he even work there anymore? I thought he jumped ship to go start another battle royale that doesn't work.
No, I mean I don't think he like jumped ship, but I think he like is working on something else now. But I think he's like still part of the greater company. Ryan, what's your number 3?
Oh, mine is both disappointing and bad. It is the threequel to one of my current favorite franchises, probably of all time at this point. They added in some multiplayer and put it in a setting that I am super fond of, and then bungled the whole thing, and that is Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Yeah.
They tried to Destiny it, which doesn't work on these like single player focused games. I was hoping it would be like a fun co-op time with my buddies. And the co-op fucking sucks. Everything's bullet sponges. There's only story in the first 2 hours and then like the last cutscene. and then everything in between is just like go to some map in France and do some stuff. Like very uninteresting level design. It takes place in the 80s, and the trailer and like the opening part of the game really emphasizes the 80s stuff, and then they forget about it again for that whole middle section. There's not even cool like synthwave music like you would hope. Like, why set it in the 80s if you're not going to fuck around and do anything with it? Like, it seems like such a waste. Like, every cool idea they had in it is just fucked up in some stupid way. I beat it, but I fucking hate that game.
Yeah,
but it has really important story stuff in that last little bit.
I played a little bit of it. Like, you either like lent it to me or like brought it over, and I played like a couple missions either with you or
I think it was on Game Pass.
I think you're right. But we did something with it, and I like finished the first level, and it was kind of just like, I don't think I want to play that ever again.
Yeah, we did the first level together.
Like, it was just.
Yeah.
Hey, that was my reaction to it too.
It came out like not too long after I had finally played Wolfie 1 and 2, and I was pretty excited for it, and then I was quickly convinced to not touch it.
What a bummer.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll bounce back with the third like big game.
And I guess that's the thing I'm worried about, is that Wolfenstein 3 is going to be bad. Which is not a feeling I want to be thinking ever.
Yeah, but wasn't the other like mid game shitty too?
Old Blood's still great. It's
Old
just
Blood's
worse
cool.
than New Order, which is an incredibly high bar.
I didn't ever get around to that. I've only done New Order and New Colossus.
It's the worst of two very good things.
Yeah.
I would say I might like Old Blood more than New Colossus. Maybe. It's not as crazy.
Have a pregnant lady shooting guns.
See, that it's like Old Blood doesn't have nearly as much of the crazy. It just has Nazi zombies. But yeah. Oh, that's a bummer about Youngblood.
Well,
Hunter,
3, right?
Hunter, hit me with your number 3.
My number 3 is I don't know if obscure is the right word, but it's not a known game, because for a while there, GameStop tried to get into game publishing.
Oh my god. Are we going to talk about Deformers?
No, we're going to talk about a different one, though.
Licky Boom Boom Down?
Because I never played Deformers, because it looked also garbage. But every game that GameStop has published has been mediocre at best and outright horrible shit. Like Has Been Heroes.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I wish I could.
That was right on the tail end of like Ryan and I shit.
Yeah, at the time, because GameStop was publishing it, they wanted us to show it endlessly. And so when we got 1 million fucking copies of it, because like clearly this is gonna sell, I took one home and played it. I was like, what the fuck is this game?
It's like a flash game.
It's like a flash game. It's like Plants vs. Zombies, except way worse gameplay-wise, because you only have 3 people. You can only move them after they kill one dude, but in order to kill one dude, you have to wait 30 seconds each time they kill somebody.
God.
And it's like, what is this? Like, why is this a thing?
The reason I think you probably ended up playing it and why I was curious about it is the company that GameStop did the Game Trust, they got into publishing stuff and they published Song of the Deep by Insomniac.
Which is mediocre.
But they were doing these like indie games, but big studios were doing them, and Has Been Heroes was the second one they did following Song of the Deep. And it's like, oh, let's see where this goes. And then they released that, and then The Invisible Hours, and then Deformers.
Like, I'm pretty sure what with GameStop's financial situation, they've stopped publishing games.
I think so.
Every game they made was bad. And I don't, I'm honestly surprised at that.
Song of the Deep is the best one, and someone might say that it's in the best 150 games of the last generation, but That's about the best I can say about it.
It is wholly middle of the pack, and that's the best one they've got.
It is a perfectly fine. I've never played a Metroidvania and need to show someone a Metroidvania.
Yeah. Dash, did you ever do the Invisible Hours?
I don't know that one.
Oh, it was
I played like 10 rounds of Deformers.
They like officially published 3 games, or at least on Steam, they still only have 3 games. Song of the Deep, Has Been Heroes, and Invisible Hours. It's by the Tequila Works, so the people who did Sexy Brutale, VR mystery.
That breaks my
game.
heart.
But it's got positive reviews.
I mean, well, most stuff has positive reviews on Steam, other than
Very positive reviews.
other than just straight up shit post games.
Meme games like Undertale.
Jason, what's your second meme game?
My second game is...
When are we getting into the ones you actually don't like?
Now.
Next
Okay.
week.
My second game is a game that is not fun to play, not fun to watch, and not fun to listen to you guys talk about. And it is Crawl.
Mute him. Fucking cut his mic. Fucking cut his mic right
Crawl
now.
sucks. Anyone who likes Crawl is an idiot.
Okay. You're not wrong, but I'm still hurt.
I don't know why. I don't know why I hate that game, but I cannot stand playing it or being around people while they're playing it. It makes me immediately want to go to bed. I have definitely fallen asleep while you guys have played it numerous times.
Bums me out.
He's
Such a
sleepy
fun game.
bear.
Such a fun fucking game.
Yeah, I know no one has my back on this. Maybe I'll get it.
Well,
I don't think I will.
Just hate fuck it with juice.
That game have online yet?
no.
It never
If it,
will.
if it
Probably
ever has
not.
if it ever has online, I'll play it with you.
It's not going to happen until Crawl 2, which is going to be a 3D game with it's like polygonal and everything with like huge open dungeons.
And I'll love Crawl too.
Crawler.
Risk of Crawl.
Yeah. So my number 2 has a combination of lots of things that lead to it being disappointment. And the reason it's on this list is it's maybe not like the absolute worst, but when I thought of this category, it was the very first game that came to mind. It takes a special kind of bad to take a studio that I absolutely love and will fanatically buy anything from, take an IP that I absolutely love that does not have any good games for it, that could be super badass done by this company, and then put out such a raw piece of shit that I got every single achievement in because I hate myself. But a little old game studio called Platinum Games has different development branches. They have their like A tier, their B tier, and then they have their C tier. This was the first game where that development team structure really became known to me because this C-tier studio continued to go and put out lots of licensed games. But I didn't play any of those due to my terrible experience with Platinum Games' The Legend of Korra. Platinum Games doing an Avatar game should be amazing. Everything about that should work. The only better team I could think of to do an Avatar game would be the Jade Empire team doing an Avatar game.
BioWare?
But I mean, look, but specifically the Jade Empire. Like, I specifically want the Jade Empire shit to translate onto avatars. I think that would be perfect. But whatever. That's not the point. Legend of Korra sucks so much shit. And I'm talking about the game, not the television show, which only half sucks shit. This is the Legend of Korra Season 2 of video games.
Oof.
I love Platinum, and even when Platinum makes some bad shit, I'm usually pretty on board for it. Like, I can put up with a lot of Platinum Games bullshit because, generally speaking, the gameplay will balance. It'll all kind of balance out in the end. Legend of Korra, it would be an insult to Dynasty Warriors to call this game Dynasty Warriors like. And just how there is none of that Platinum Games nuance to it or anything. It's just a horrible beat 'em up thing. I would speak more highly of the Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Burning Earth, than I would this game, because at the very least you can get all the achievements in about half an hour, as opposed to the 7 or 8 hours that I spent with this piece of shit.
Gotta
Because
get that
after I
gamer
finished
score.
it, I'm like, well, all I have to do to get the last achievement is beat it on the hardest difficulty. So I guess I'll just run through it again really quick, because I could New Game Plus it and I had all the upgrades and everything. So I did. It's so devastatingly bad. This like C Team went on to do like a Transformers game, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, that all just sucked shit out of fucking butt. But it just hurts me that there is no good Avatar video game, because it feels ripe for it. And this then is a double header of a studio I love not only making me have to question their things in the future, but also they're continuing to just be no good Avatar game. But yeah, Legend of Korra, dog shit, just dog shit. It is like PS2 era bad license game tier.
Oof.
It's just dog shit. God, it fucking sucks. I'm so mad I spent any amount of money and time on it. I was so excited for it leading up to it also. Sean, hit me.
All right. So Ryan pretty much said everything that I wanted to say in misconnections for this one. But my number 2 is PT / Silent Hills. Nothing could have built me up more than everything around PT, and just that, and Konami in general entirely falling apart is a huge disappointment. I don't know. It just feels like there's a lot of things that could have been. PT itself is no disappointment at all, but the aftermath of it is. Yeah.
That was a good ass little teaser.
Yeah.
Good ass little playable teaser.
Wait a
When
minute.
it comes together and it says that, I love it.
Yeah, like it was it was a magical experience that I'm so glad I got to be around for.
Jareth.
I haven't given up hope on that seeing the light of day yet.
I have.
but
But I also know that, like, since it's a scary game, I would be so excited for it. I'd play 10 minutes of it and I'd decide to never open whatever the
I
next.
would be surprised if you made it 10 minutes.
I made it through
PT.
PT though.
Did you really?
PT
Yeah,
is
yeah.
legit one of the if not the scariest game I think I've ever been around.
Although
Same.
you guys were all there, so that made it easier.
Ryan and
Oh,
Melissa
yeah, that
played
was
it
when
while
we-
I literally cowered under the covers in my
Yeah.
bedroom.
You
But
guys
I still had
came
to, like,
to
keep a
Lawrence
single,
to show
like,
me PT.
Eye out because I wanted to see what was going on.
Good game.
That's right.
Great experience. Great thing.
We should all go visit Sean and Lawrence again.
We still can. Ryan, what's
Yes.
your number 2?
This is another one that has layers to it. 2 different layers. Base layer, game sucks shit. Game's awful. But the part that really sets this one over the top for me, because normally I wouldn't even fucking bother talking about this one, but is the first one in the line of games, and I would say a new genre that completely misunderstands what that genre is about. I'm talking about Lords of the Fallen, a shitty Dark Souls clone that completely misunderstands what makes Dark Souls any good. It's just some basic fucking default character creator guy walking through some basic, just dropped in castles fighting basic dudes. It feels like shit. It feels like your dude's just wading through mud. It does nothing that Dark Souls does correctly.
I mean this as politely as possible. It's like Jason designed what he thought Dark Souls was. Like it's like what he truly believes Dark Souls is.
I know exactly what Dark Souls is.
Exactly. Dark Souls is fantasy and hard and swords.
Yeah. It's like, how do you make a love letter to something or a spiritual successor to something, but you don't understand the spirit of it? I don't know. It's so fucking off the mark. Like, it's not only one of the worst in like the Souls-like games, but it also kind of kicked off people going, I can make a Souls game too, and really nobody's done it.
There have been a small handful, but it ain't those. Worse yet, that studio has made 4 of those kinds of games.
Oh yeah,
The
they're doing the
Surge.
Surge now.
Yeah, because there were 2 Lords of the Fallen and 2 Surges.
There was
All
a
of them
second Lords of the Fallen.
Terrible.
Jesus Christ.
All of them terrible.
That's my number 2. That game fucking
And
sucks.
there can totally be, like, you can totally do a Dark Souls game without it being a FromSoft game. I think, like, Salt and Sanctuary is fantastic and
Mhm.
understands what those games are about. Hollow Knight is absolutely a Souls-like.
So it has to be
Um,
2D is what you're saying.
Fuck, maybe.
I mean, I thought Ashen was pretty good, but you do need, at some point, you need to have another person there with you because they were like, let's do a co-op thing.
I've heard really positive things about Mortal Shells also. But
And there's that one, what was it? It's called like Revenant or something like that. that's
Revenant
just
from
like
the
a shoot.
Ashes, which is like the shooter version.
Mhm. I've heard decent things, but
Yeah.
who knows?
You,
Not a fan of Souls-like games. I'm just a fan of Souls games.
Yeah, which it's like you said, it's the just nobody. These are not done by people who have a reverence for Dark Souls and understand what makes those games tick.
Yeah, or they don't understand why Dark Souls worked, and I think it's because it comes from Miyazaki's mind, where it's like he has a very specific life story based around fantasy stuff that he can capture what his experience is, and other people are like,
Case
well, I
in
want
point,
to do
Dark
that
Souls
too.
2 is fucking terrible.
Exactly.
The
Terrible.
best Souls-like.
Hunter, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, Hunter has
Okay.
number 2.
So, Capcom's made a game series
Oh, they
that
haven't.
Prove it.
I can't. End of the podcast. With the first one, some said that they captured people in America better than. most
Oh no!
American
Don't
kids
do this.
did.
Don't talk about it. Don't remind me.
I'm talking about it, which I never played it a lot, but I was like a fan from the sidelines of this series. And then 2 added like combo weapons and stuff. And 3 was a launch title for the Xbox One. It wasn't as good as 1 or 2, but it still had some decent bits in it. But then they made a little game called Dead Rising 4. And I did not pay attention to anything said about it before it came out. If I did, I definitely would not have bought it day one for $60 because they said every possible phrase that is a huge red flag of a completely new developer developing a new game in a franchise, because they're like, we're bringing the old character back. We're taking the series back to its roots. It's a new Frank. He's got an attitude. And just the game is so mind-boggling with, like, if you compare even it to 1, the fucking launch title for the 360, there is so little to do. And like environmental interaction, interesting weapons. It's just, there's so many bugs and shit. Like you can throw a grenade at a window and it just clips through the ground and disappears.
Hunter,
That's what grenades do, Hunter. That's realistic.
Hunter, the version with all the DLC, it's called Frank's Big Package.
You know what? That
like
reverses my
like
entire
his
opinion.
dick,
That's fucking good.
like Frank's dick.
I don't want to
hate
put
this.
as my
Like
number
his
one best
dick.
game.
They put that in
I don't like
stores.
this at
Frank's
all.
Big
I like
Package.
Ash's soul patch.
Like his fucking dick.
Yeah, that it came with a snow globe though. A very shitty
It
little
came
snow
with a
globe.
snow globe though.
So
came-
actually, can we move
Put it on the
this?
back of the box.
The
Move it down.
The only good part is that For whatever reason, Frank assumes a different identity right at the start, and he goes by the name Hank East instead of Frank West.
I think the best
And that's
part is that
good.
it doesn't disable the function of the eject button on your system.
I think the Rob Riggle Frank West is a better Frank West than that Frank West.
I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, don't worry, I don't. Those are better representations of Dead Rising than Dead Rising 4. And those
Like,
are
it's-
dog shit.
It's not often you hear the phrase "Dead Rising chop till you drop" is better than this game.
Dead Rising Chop Till You Drop is better than that game.
Was that the Wii port?
That was the Wii port.
The
Gotcha.
one that only had
The
like,
Wii Harbor.
There's 3 zombies in it.
yeah, there's like 3 zombies at screen at all times, and it emphasizes guns in a game where guns suck shit.
I forgot about Dead Rising 4.
I wish I could.
Jason, what's your number one? We're into the
Speaking
shit
of
now.
sucking shit.
Help us forget about Dead Rising 4.
Okay. So my number one is a game that I, until today, hadn't thought about in probably a year and a half. It's a little game made by our buddies at Rare that I was absurdly excited for on just like very minimal information that was released before it came out.
Hey, there's a reason there was minimal information released for it.
Yeah, because it was a minimal game.
Got as much information as they could provide.
I could not wait to get this game when it came out and hop on a boat and sing some shanties with my boys in a little pile of garbage we like to call Sea of Thieves. That game fucking sucks. It's not good at anything, and it doesn't do anything. The whole game is trash. And anybody who
it's
enjoys
really good
it is
at
a
a-
fucking idiot.
Got a good hurdy-gurdy.
It's really good at making you mad.
Gotta go
I don't
find
think I have
Xbox.
ever been
by
more
being
consistently.
a really cool idea that can't do any of the cool things well.
But also having a whole, like, it has nothing in place to stop or mitigate griefing in any way. So, like, okay, whatever, someone comes after you, they fuck you over, okay, whatever, it happened. But then you spawn in less than a mile away from them, and then they come back and do it again.
Yep.
And then you spawn in less than a mile away from them, and then they come in and do it again.
And
you-
do
There's no goal. The
Do
lack
not
of
get
a
it
goal
twisted.
is a big issue.
I would totally just play a game where I can go online and grief people on pirates. That's my exact jam. But to what end? What's the point?
Yeah, it's like
Like-
the NPC portions of it were just complete trash. The bad guys, the computer bad guys that you fought were stupid. Like the going and raiding an island to try and get the treasure that gave you nothing was
No
pointless.
progression, nothing.
it was
It's-
it was
there was-
three
there was-
missions.
Also, that
There was
game
no
was
motivation.
buggy as shit. Like,
Yeah,
let's
there-
not
like-
forget.
On the very, 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 very base level of it's cool to sail a big ship that requires 2 or 3 people. That part was neat for
Mhm.
about 30 minutes.
And then there was no fucking game around it.
And then, yeah, there was no game. It was just endless ocean with some little islands with a couple skeleton dudes. And then you got a treasure that didn't do anything. And then on the boat, you could get drunk and get real life motion sickness. And then the game just didn't do anything.
You could puke on each other.
I hate
Bruh.
that they have continued to update that game.
Yeah.
I
hate
do
it.
wonder.
I hate so much that game is still getting content.
I want
Was
to
this
know what
the
it's
game-
like now.
Now there
Because
are
I put.
islands.
What's that?
There's still no progression.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
There's just like volcano islands where if you're docked near them, they erupt every so often and they just damage your boat.
Because they fundamentally believe that the lack of progression is a good thing. That is a plus in their book. They don't want there to be progression. That's
Oh,
not what
all
the
of-
game is about.
All of the weapons are bad to use.
Yeah.
Like the combat is horrible. The sailing of a boat with your boys is fun for a few minutes, and that's the only thing that the game did kind of okay.
Yeah, because
And
I
it
love a
just
big, like, elaborate, stupid machine of everyone panicking around trying to navigate it. Like, there's
yeah.
Yeah,
Losers in a
Overcooked is
Dangerous
good for a
Space
reason.
Time
As someone who
is
hasn't played it, it sounds so good in theory.
It is. Like
Yeah,
it's got a
I
pretty
was very,
solid.
very excited for it.
It's got a
Until
lot
I
of
got
like
to
good
watch.
atmosphere, and they do kind of incorporate in a lot of like fun pirate lore stuff, but it doesn't amount to anything. That game
Jason.
is the most consistently frustrated I've ever been in a video
Ryan,
game.
was this the game that you assumed I was talking about earlier when I realized I knew what my answer was?
No,
Oh,
I don't even remember what I thought.
you might have been
Jay-
thinking Crawl then.
You and I should play Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time sometime. It's all of that fun
I've
stuff
seen that game.
about the ship piloting, but then there's an actual game around it.
I've played it like very briefly at someone's house for
I
like
think it's
10
a cool
minutes,
game.
and it seems neat. But yeah, dude, Sea of Thieves. I'm so happy that no one else said it because I wanted to fucking rant about it on my turn.
Yeah, that game
Because like
fucking
when
sucks.
I thought of disappointments, that game is by far, I think, the most disappointed I've been at launch of a game. And like it's not like I played it for an hour and gave up and never tried. We put hours into that game
Oh yeah,
to try
You
and
lasted longer
figure
than I
out
did.
to try and figure out if it might be okay. Like I played it with you guys, I played it with Ryan and Scott and other people because they played it and insisted
I put
that
a
it wasn't
solid like
horrible.
2 weeks into that game.
Yeah, I think Ryan, I think you lasted the longest of all of us because you had extra people that were willing to try and play it, and that game just wasn't good.
Yeah.
I still see people on my friends list every once in a while playing that game, and it blows my mind.
I will say it is a perfect example for Game Pass because you play it for
Yes.
like
Yeah.
2-3 hours and
Yeah,
you're
I
like,
did not pay money
this
for that
game is so mind-numbingly
Only
bad.
upswing.
And then you're
Mhm.
like, okay, I can delete it, never play it again, and no, I didn't technically pay for it.
They
Only
I
should
was
use it
this
as the
close to
advertisement
buying
for
it.
Game Pass.
I had every intention of buying it, and then it was like, oh, it's going to be on Game Pass day one. Cool.
Yeah, I would have
saves
bought
me
that
money.
game.
Because it sounded cool. The idea was cool, and like I love Pirates of the Caribbean. I like pirates. Pirates.
Yeah,
are
I
a cool
loved.
theme
There's
of
only one
things.
good pirate game in existence.
Black
There should
Flag?
be more. Yeah, Black Flag.
I own that on 360 and Xbox One, and I have never launched it.
It's the only
It's a
good pirate
pirate
game that
game.
exists.
Mm.
Yeah, I hate, again, like I said, I hate that they continue to update that game because I just want them to move on to something else. Just
Yeah.
please stop. Like,
Yeah, you're mentioning No Man's Sky is what immediately made me think of it.
and the worst thing is No Man's Sky's fixed. Like, No Man's Sky is it's not my kind of game, but it's like it is well regarded now. Like
It'll
you can
never
turn
have
one of those
kids.
a game like that around. They just aren't because again they think that no progression is a good thing.
Yeah, like give me a reason to loot islands and gain something,
No,
even if it's still
You
meaningless.
get a new cosmetic in your first person game.
Yeah.
Don't you like
You upgrade
Man,
the
it-
ship.
yeah, don't you
combat
like
was-
your
Oh
bump
boy,
hot
The
pink?
the combat was a pile of trash. Like the sword sucked, the gun sucked, everything sucked.
yeah.
Someone else's turn.
Dash,
So
go.
I'm going to probably it's obviously I'm a young man. It's hard to say things that will last a lifetime, but I am hard pressed to think that I am ever going to be as disappointed by another video game as long as I live than I was for this one. This is getting past like I'm going to establish I get it. I'm not here to argue certain things about this, but understand that people bought PlayStation 3s for Kingdom Hearts 3. I am not one of those people, but there is a fervor around this franchise that I'm not saying it's the best franchise, but it has an internal logic, it has an internal consistency. There are things that you can expect from it that are throughout all of the games. You know what you're getting into at this point, and it's a very storied and long franchise. And they finally released the conclusion to the first arc of the Kingdom Hearts story. I could write you a master's thesis on why Kingdom Hearts 3 is disappointing in every single thing it attempts to do. I'm not going to sit here and say the Kingdom Hearts games are masterclasses of like writing or anything like that. It's all anime bullshit,
gameplay,
and it always has been. But like again, though, like they're good within the context of it's like there are certain things that you understand and expect from those games. So believe me when I say that Kingdom Hearts 3 is a betrayal on literally every front. It does nothing positive at all in any regard. It doesn't wrap up the story in a meaningful way. Characters don't make character decisions that you would expect them to make. They do ass pulls even by Kingdom Hearts standards. It's not a satisfying conclusion in any regard to the story that they've been building up. They made the gameplay significantly worse. And I would also like to establish that, like, it's not like, oh, I am older now, I'm not looking at this stuff the way I did when I was a kid. I play through Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 at least once a year. And that shit still holds up pretty fucking well. And then for this to just not only take so long to come out, but then to shit the bed in every single way. Like, I put up with their fucking mobile game bullshit. I put up with so much shit surrounding this franchise. And then this is how they fucking do me. This is how dirty they fucking do it. Boggles the mind. And the new extremely canon, because every Kingdom Hearts game is super canon, Rhythm game just released. And it is the first time that I have looked at a Kingdom Hearts game and just kind of said, I'm good. I don't
First
think
time.
First time. I played the fucking mobile game, Sean. If you want me to like talk about all the important plot details that are in Kingdom Hearts,
we really don't.
Kingdom Hearts key for mobile devices, I fucking did it. I did all of it because it was gonna build to something. There was gonna be something out of all this.
Just play the next trilogy.
15 years I've
it'll
given
build
to
to
this
something in
franchise.
another 15 years.
15 years for Drake Bell playing chess. That's what it built to. It's that unfortunate thing of I have no other Kingdom Hearts friends to bounce this off of because nobody understands this. Like, you can't like Ryan's friend Scott played through all of them as well, and I was able to talk to him kind of at length for it, which the year it came out, that's how I was able to vent all of this out. Mind-boggling. I read a 43-page PDF trying to explain how this is actually like some 9th D chess in the story, and actually it all makes sense. I don't think I will ever be
again.
Clearly you missed something.
I don't think I'll ever be this disappointed by any game.
Not enough D's in that chess.
I can't even. It's all bad. It's all bad. It's all bad. It's all bad.
My favorite part of the half hour I played was that Phil from Hercules was silent because his Japanese voice actor died and they didn't want to recast somebody.
And,
so
yeah, and there's a ton of instances of just like characters not talking because they don't have the voice actors or actresses for them. Like,
I like the part where Frozen got popular, so they just put all of Let It Go in there.
God.
And they would cut to every so often just reaction shots of your team just going like, oh, I think that's Elsa. And then they'd play the whole song.
Played a shot-for-shot remake of the Let It Go segment of Frozen. Fucking Christ, there's so much. There's so much.
But Dash, big question. Does everybody still refer to them as Sora, Donald, and Goofy?
Is this a setup?
No, in
Oh,
2.
you mean how like in 2 how they
Yeah,
talk
in
like that?
2,
Yes,
they
they
did
still
not-
do that.
They never said them or you guys or
Yeah.
just individually referring to them. They're always like, thank you, Sora, Donald, and Goofy.
Yeah, no, fret not. They still that. There's a point where Woody the cowboy has to hold Sora back so that Woody the cowboy can fight this young fuckboy Darkness Master. And he says something like, "No, I'm gonna protect my friends." It's just horseshit. But it's not even the brand of horseshit that I have grown accustomed to. It is a whole new, super worse brand of bullshit.
I don't know. You just sold me on it. I'm gonna check it out.
Do it. No, please do. Please do. Let me talk
Jump in at 3.
to anyone about this.
Sean's just gonna like that they have ride summons.
I don't. And that's
I
the
like
thing,
the teacups.
there's so many like cool ideas on paper. Like all of the summons are based off of Disney World rides. That's a cool thing. I like that. Doesn't execute well even slightly. It's terrible.
Yeah, but
God.
who cares? Teacups.
Fuck, I wish I could just talk about how fucking bad this game is for an hour.
We
but
don't. Sean,
yeah.
please
Yeah, Sean, get me
save
out of
us
here.
from this hell.
Get me out of here.
Alrighty. My number one worst is Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 2. I loved Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 1. Separate game, didn't come out this generation, so this counts. I know it gets a lot of flack for like not branching as much as people would like, but I do think that was like the first game that I felt like I was put in a real situation of like a moral choice. And
I love it.
like there were multiple points of that throughout Season 1 of Telltale's The Walking Dead. Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 2 is you watching people doing bad things and putting that as some sort of moral choice aspect. It completely removes everything that made the first one special. And it almost becomes misery porn at that point. Whereas like, I would say, despite being, a zombie game, Walking Dead Season 1 does have, you playing as Lee taking care of this little girl, Clementine. There's an element of like hopefulness, something to fight for. Walking Dead Season 2 is just like, it's a lot of the same reasons that I don't care for that show. And it was a real disappointment. I was sad and I played through the whole thing, and it didn't make me sad in the right ways.
I heard
made you sad that it was a
incredibly
shitty
negative
game.
things surrounding Season 2, especially off of because like everyone lost their fucking minds about Season 1.
I mean, I loved Season 1. I truly did. Just like batteries. Like even like they bring back Kenny, and it's just like it's a whole different team, is what I heard. And they had to like rush it out much faster, and it shows.
And then they continued to do that for the rest of that studio's existence.
Hey,
Yes.
they made 2 really good Batman games.
I
Little bit.
heard the Walking Dead, the Telltale ones at least, literally only got worse.
Oh, you didn't like Michonne?
They changed the art style after Season 2 to be like realistic, and it just looks really weird.
Also, I just learned this recently that the final season actually did come out, but apparently based off this cover, it's like a reversal of Season 1 where Clementine is now the older person
Yep.
and protecting like a little black kid.
Mhm.
Yep.
So it's like
They also did a new re-release where they have everything like in black and white, which could be kind of neat for those games I don't like.
The Chrome edition.
But I'm sorry, Sean.
future?
Jason and I cannot hear people bitch about Walking Dead anymore for the rest of our lives, and I need to pass it over to Ryan. What is your most disappointing?
That was
Whoa,
a magic
Dave.
reference.
More like no thanks.
Is it really Woe Dave?
It's no Dave. It's Whoa Dave. That game, Whoa Dave sucks my nuts through my butt, man. That game is fucking awful.
Those are the words I've
It-
been looking for to describe Kingdom Hearts this whole time.
It's one of those things that since the like 5 minutes Dash and I played in his apartment, it has stuck with me. Like it, yeah, that's where the more like no thanks comes from, but it's like that came from a place of profound hatred
Mhm.
towards a game. That it's so bad, and anytime somebody brings up talking about like a bad game, it's like, oh, there's this
Yeah, it's
game
like,
called
Whoa, Dave.
Whoa, Dave. But also it exists as this terrible game that everybody was raving about. I think Dash touched on it a little bit, but like every single like website I was looking at was like, oh, this Whoa Dave thing. Hey, the hit classic Whoa Dave is part of Humble Bundle this week. Overwhelmingly positive, all this stuff. And it's like, I don't know what I'm not getting, or people are just so attracted to the old, authentic, like arcade style experience that they're willing to play a fucking shitty game and say it's, I don't know. I do not understand that game. It
This
fucking
game has
sucks.
an 82 on Metacritic.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Must be good then. I don't know what you're talking about, right?
Jonathan
Yeah.
Holmes of Destructoid gave it an 8.5 out of 10, a reviewer whom I trust. Hours of arcade fun, strange charm, and game design science.
It's literally none of that. It's like,
You
here,
should
let
get
me
it.
do Whoa Dave real
Whoa
quick.
Dave is the
There's
grunge
a
rock
stage.
of video games.
Okay, there's a bottom stage, and then there's two of those, and there's a coin there. Okay, you have played Whoa Dave.
So it's Smash Bros.
Finally, I
know.
just like to fill out my best of the generation list.
Sounds like science to me.
Worse yet is fucking it's by the Bit Trip studio.
Oh God.
Oof.
So like you know that they can make good games, but also Bubsy Paws on Fire.
So yeah, good
It
game.
all makes sense.
Wait, is there a sequel to Whoa Dave in development?
Whoa, Dave.
Why? No, Dave.
They're making one now that they heard this podcast.
They're aiming for that 83%.
Brian,
on
there is
Metacritic.
a Whoa Dave follow up.
Oh, perfect. Well, next time we hit the
It's called Space
game,
Dave, and it
next
looks
time we
like
hit Game of the
it's
Generation.
the gameplay looks completely different. But it is on Nintendo Switch.
Currently,
Yeah, I think so. I think it came out in
All right.
2018.
well, I'll watch the video
It
for
looks
it.
like Space Invaders, but with the iconic Whoa Dave.
The titular Dave.
Oh, and he's titular.
Whoa.
It's a brutal walk down memory lane.
Hunter, save us from Dave, please.
Okay.
Deliver us from Dave.
Here, I need to double check a year real quick. 2010. Okay.
That
So
doesn't
there's
work.
a game came out in 2010. It was a mediocre sequel to an Xbox 360 game called Crackdown 2.
Ah,
And in this game, it was, it was mediocre. They added some neat ideas, but it was mostly bad. And then they're like, yeah, we're making a third one. It's going to be out here in like 2 years or whatever. It's like, sweet. Even though this one was not that great, I love Crackdown, and I can't wait to play this here in a couple years.
Crackdown
then-
2 is still a good game.
And then 9 years went by. And with almost no news until about late 2018, I think, or maybe E3 2018 or something, when they were like, yeah, it's coming out. The game everyone's been waiting for. It's motherfucking Crackdown 3. We got Terry Crews in it this time. You're going to love it. I was like, surely, after 8 years, it will actually come out. And then it was delayed until February in 2019. And I was like, okay, it's been 9 years. I know it's going to be bad, but I have to play it because I've been waiting 9 years to play it. And I did, and it is somehow worse than Crackdown 1 mechanically, almost graphically, I would say, because at least Crackdown 1 has a style to it. and just
You can Crackdown 1 outputs in 4K on the Series X and looks better than Crackdown 3.
and just like with Dead Rising, there is less environmental interaction in Crackdown 3 than there is Crackdown 1 somehow. Like,
Wasn't it supposed to have like fully destructible environments and all
So
that?
I can
thanks
talk
to the
about
cloud.
that. I
Yeah,
can talk
Dash,
about that.
you
a
know
little bit.
more about
Yeah,
that.
here, let's pass the baton. Crackdown 3 was
It's pronounced
announced.
button. We're talking about video games.
Crackdown 3 was announced as having a completely destructible environment, and I would like to go on record as saying destructible environments are something
Jesus.
that really
Oh,
they really Roger my Hammerstein. I really like that shit.
the power of the cloud.
It's one reason I like fucking Bad Company so much, is I think that destructible environments kick ass. A mediocre game can be made infinitely better by adding a fully destructible environment. And they
Red
said they were
Faction
going to
Gorilla.
Red Faction Gorilla. They said they were going to be achieving this through the power of cloud computing. And we are in the future at this point, so we know how that pans out. But that didn't end up being a thing at any point. So they then pivoted it to, the fully destructible environment is a feature exclusive to the Xbox One X. And I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. They need that extra horsepower. It's like, okay, I get it. That makes sense. I am not going to lie. It was a reason I purchased the Xbox One X. It was not the reason, but it was a contribute. Like, it was something that's like, oh yeah, it's going to have a fully destructible environment for Crackdown 3. That's going to be badass. And it comes time for the game to come out. And they say, well, that fully destructible environment thing. Listen. We can't do it in the main game. But we have a multiplayer mode that has a fully destructible map. The multiplayer mode is so goddamn bad. No amount of destructible environment can save that shit. But also, it's not like you're in a city and it's a destructible city. It's that you're in a fucking like Wahoo World Mario 64 ass arena, and then you can shoot the floor out from under people because the whole thing's destructible. And if that sounds cool, that's not how you're supposed to play it. But you can get in there and grief people that way. And as I stated during Jason's thing, ain't nobody loves griefing more than your boy here. It's so bad. Like it's I'm not saying like, oh, people need to do a class action lawsuit against Microsoft because that's false advertising. But it's that thing of just like everything about that feels so shitty and dirty. They did the same thing with that like that Minecraft like huge graphics overhauls, that being like a series or a 1X exclusive thing that never came to be either. And again, it's like I'm sure there's no actual like legal thing you could do to them or take them to court, but just like they said this shit was going to be doable on this console, and then they just totally fucking didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks. It's like I still love my 1X. And it's like I even missing out on those like two things. It's like I still greatly enjoy it, but it's like I legitimately purchased the console based on that, and that fucking blows. Crackdown 3 fortunately was free on Game Pass day one, and I played all the way through it, and it is nothing. It is so shocking how nothing that game is.
Yeah, important to note. Dash and I
Paid money
played
for it.
through. Well, yeah, that too. Dash and I played through at least some of it co-op, and it's not even fun with friends.
Yeah, like it's just nothing.
Like Borderlands is a game I don't really like, but at least I can have fun with friends while playing it.
Crackdown 1
This
is
is-
backwards compatible and has servers. Just play Crackdown 1.
Yeah, this is
Crackdown 1's
so,
amazing.
like, it's ridiculous how not even shitting around with your boys is good.
And like it very much feels like a product of its time in a bad way. Like it feels like a game from 2006 and not in the good way. Like as someone who just went and replayed Saints Row the Third recently, Saints Row the Third has so much more going on for an open world game. It's crazy how nothing Crackdown is, and that's honestly probably why it didn't make my list, is I forgot about it. It just is nothing.
I didn't, and I never will.
More like bad down 3.
Yeah.
More like no thank you down 3.
Well, this has been very therapeutic. I think we all
Yeah.
needed this release. We need to get
We
all
said
this
too
out of
much
our-
good stuff for too long.
Yeah.
Next time we
need-
get to say
who
good
gets-
stuff again.
Yeah, next time.
I
So
hate it.
basically, I'm gonna level with y'all. Someone who shall not be named went and didn't completely factor in the recording and release schedule when he took the day off of recording to play his PlayStation 5. We're not gonna
Hey,
name
stop.
names.
You're
It was
pointing at
me.
me, Ryan.
We're not gonna talk about
You're
it
at
because
fault too, Jason.
it doesn't matter.
I was doing the same thing.
But as a result,
No.
the issue is that
No,
we're not going to be
please.
recording on Thanksgiving. That's reasonable, I guess. But that means we have to fill a week of content. So as penance, I am going to be doing the top 150 games of the generation in order. It's technically going to be the top 140 games because I'm going to be doing the top 10 as part of our actual thing. But that is what I'm going to be doing. And the purpose of it is I'm going to be attempting to do an elevator pitch for 140 games. All of them are good, at least a little bit good. I
And
think
he's going to do it while suspended in an ice block above Times Square.
I think that
Holding his breath.
game 150 is Song of the Deep, actually.
Oh, damn.
I think. I have it
Song
here.
of the Beep.
Why are you spoiling my Thanksgiving watchings?
Yeah, I won't. Yeah, I can confirm. Song of the Deep is game number 150. So I will be spending 45 seconds a game for 140 games trying to explain why you should play it, why it's good, and why it is worthwhile. But that's what you will be getting an entire week of, and it's just going to be me talking in a webcam.
Sounds fun.
That's
Yeah.
what this whole podcast has been, Dash. We died 5 years ago. You have to let us go.
Doing it to cope.
The accident wasn't your fault.
But yeah, so I'm going to
It's
be
your fault.
undergoing that endeavor, and I can talk more about that once that actual episode starts. But until then, we will see you around, and if you want to just skip to the top 10s and ignore that week of stuff, go for it. That's probably what will happen anyway.